Right. First thing we're going to do is do an image search. If you search the words lip sync mouths, so once you've got one, all you have to do is import it. So File, Import the stage, navigate to where you have it saved. So I've started a folder called Lip Sync Audio, called it Reference Mouths. Then what we're going to do is name this layer Guide. And I'm going to lock it. Then I'll take my paintbrush and create a new layer. So this will be layer 2, but I'm going to name it Mouth Drawings. And then just while you're looking at these, go ahead and have a go at drawing some of them. Try not to trace them. I know it's tempting just to trace over them. It's certainly easier. But if you draw it, you'll probably remember more of it when you come to do your own original work, yeah? I just remember with white you actually do need to colour it white. Even though it looks white, it'll come across as no colour unless you actually say paint fill white, even though you can't really see it. But if you lay this on top of something later, you'll be able to see through it if it hasn't been coloured white. So what I'm doing with the teeth here. Alright, I'm going to select it. And these are the only steps you need to know. So select it once you finish drawing one of the shapes. Modify, convert to symbol. Now, give it a name that corresponds with the sound. Okay, so let's call this one C. Okay, now it'll pop up in your library. So the idea is we want to build a library of all the different mouth shapes over here as symbols. Now that this is turned into a symbol, well, I could just move it out of the way and keep going, or you can just delete it if you like, because now it's in your library, you don't need it. And you can draw your next mouth shape. we can delete our mouth shapes. Or if you haven't quite finished doing the shapes yet, that's alright. Just make it disappear. So click on the eye so it goes away. If you do want to leave it there. And then what you can do is start to draw in the shape of the head that you want to work with. And I'm just going to create, once I've done that, let's label this, let's call it face, label this layer, and I'll lock that off for a minute, grab a new layer, and I'm just going to call this one mouth. And onto this mouth layer, I'm going to drag one of these mouths just to see what it looks like. Just want to get an idea. I'm just going to lock that mouth shape and do a little work on my face. Okay, so once you're happy with your face, select the whole face, not the mouth, so the mouth's on a different layer and it's locked. Select the whole face, modify, convert to symbol, and just save it as face. Or head, if you like. So now you should see it in your library as well. So we're starting to build up some stuff in the library. Then what I'm going to do is lock my face layer and get another new layer. I'm going to draw the eyes on the new layer. And let's just make the other layers transparent so that we can see what we're working on. Then once you've got your eyes drawn on, you want to go modify, convert to symbol. I'm going to call this surprised eyes. Surprised eyes, these ones. If yours look surprised, if they don't, you don't have to call them surprised. It's just something, because I'm going to do some different eyes, and so I'm just trying to give them a description. Now for this next step, I'm going to double click on the eyes here, okay? So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to double click on them, And look where it takes me. So now I'm inside the eyes here. See surprised eyes within scene 1. So this is where we're going to do the work to our eyes. But let's first duplicate over in the library. So if you right click on surprised eyes, right click and duplicate. Closed eyes. We're going to call it closed eyes. Oh, for some reason it added copy. Take out the copy. Yep, hang on, coming over. Closed eyes. What I've done here is basically copied the eyes, and I've called this closed eyes, the ones I'm working on now. And that means that I can make a change to it. And I won't muck up the surprised eyes that I already made. And I did stuff my naming up a little bit here. These are the closed eyes. So I'll just call these ones normal. And these ones closed. Right click on one of the eyes. So in this case I've called it normal eyes, but right click, duplicate, okay, and then name the one that you're about to make. That's probably the better order of doing it. So I'm going to do this one, sad eyes. Okay, so I've got sad eyes in my library over here. It's the same as normal eyes here, but double click on it once you've made it. So it's double click, and then you can change it. I'm going to duplicate. I'll try angry. Angry eyes. So if you've finished those steps and you want to give your character a body, go ahead. If you want to do a background, put a background in as well. So new layer. Okay, so once we've got all of our content ready, yes, put them into the library. So File, Import, Import to Library. Then you should be able to choose your sounds. So I've got them in a folder called Vox, which means voice, in my project folder for my lip sync. So select the sounds, the WAV files, and click Open, and they should arrive in your library here. So here they are with everything else, and you can preview them over here in the library. So you can press a little play in the top right corner of the window.
Excuse me.
Here we go. One,
And baby,
and the last one.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
There we go. Now we can grab a new layer. Let's label this layer Vox for voice. And grab the one that you want to work on. drag it down, put it onto the stage on that layer. Let go, and it will put the voice in here. Now at the moment, because we only have one frame on the timeline, it's got that voice all on just one frame, which is not long enough for it to play out. Okay, so give yourself some time on the timeline here, and say take it out to, for example, frame 100. Tap F6 to put a keyframe in, and do it on all the other layers as well, so we don't lose any of the other bits and pieces we've got. And now you'll see here that this is how long the soundbite goes for. So you can see the little orange waveforms here. Now you should be able to press return or enter, and you'll be able to play through that sound. Now, one other thing makes it easier once we start doing the frame by frame lip sync to the audio is click on the sound here. So click anywhere on the layer or any of the frames that the sound occupies here, and go to your properties window over on the right here. So if you're only seeing library, then the next tab is your properties, and where it says sync down the bottom under sound, change it to stream. So make sure yours is on stream. And what that means is you can scrub through. This is called scrubbing, where you move a playhead through, and you can hear the different sounds as you move the playhead through the frames. And when you press return and you stop and start it, you hear the whole sound. Whereas when it was on before, when it was on the previous one, it was on event, I think. And when it's on event, when you stop and start, you can't hear the rest of it. And when you scrub through, you see you can't hear it, the different syllables broken down into those frames. So, and that's what we need to be able to do to hear the different sounds for the shapes. So stream is what you want. I'm just going to move mine across a little bit. So I've clicked on the first frame and I've just dragged it down a few. The reason is I don't want him to start talking straight away. You can if you want, it's up to you, but I just left like 5 frames here before the talking starts. See, I've got a little gap there at the beginning. And reason is I'm going to just give him a rest mouth at the beginning. So this is where I want to change my mouth. Okay, so I'm going to lock that sound layer now. So I've locked Vox, and what I'm going to change is the mouth. So I've selected the mouth, unlocked it, and I'm now working on this mouth layer here. So select that first frame on the mouth layer. And just click once on the mouth here to select it. So on the actual stage, just select the mouth, and then you should get in the properties, a bit like when we were doing effects on symbols of things, you get some information about that symbol. Okay, and that symbol is the mouth shape, which I'm going to change. So where it says here, it says an instance of O. That's what I called that mouth shape. It's the O sound, right? But I want to swap it. And so you'll see that there on the right of where it says instance of, there's a button called swap symbol, or swap. So you can tap on that, and it will let you swap it with any of the other symbols that you have in your library. You can browse through them. I'm going to select OK, and that swaps it to the rest mouth here, which as you can see is a little bit out of whack. Let's just make it a bit. So it's going to stay on the rest mouth, and then I'm going to make a change where it says O. Oh, the first sound, O. Which for me, I can see that that happens on about the 6th frame here. So what I'm going to do on that 6th frame is tap F6. Okay, so I've got a keyframe there. So you can see all I'm looking at the moment is the mouth layer, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames that are now going to be just on this rest mouth, and it's on the 6th frame that I want to change. That's where the talking starts, and that's where I put a keyframe in. That's what the sound I'm going to need for this one. So go ahead and select that mouth again, but on the 6th frame, go to swap and choose your mouth. Is it going to be O? And just line it up. Use onion skin if you like, just to see where your other mouth was. You can always reshape. And let it go out. So if you finish that, you can try loading into another sound.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm uh,
I.
sorry. Ending. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Ending. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Ending. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.